Camila Cabello reveals her and Shawn had a pretty messy start to their relationship, and Khloe Kardashian may be back together with Tristan Thompson, so there's a whole lot to talk about. Hey guys, welcome back to Shared News. Happy Tuesday. I'm your host, Renee Ariel.
And I'm Fiona Zaring.
And for the first time ever here on Shared News, we are going to be doing a daily rundown because it's a Tuesday. A lot happened.
Let's
talk about it because, for starters, we love Shamila.
Love Shamila.
And after Camila dropped her album Romance, she's been doing a lot of interviews, one of which was with ET Canada. And during that interview, she talked about the inspiration by two of her songs, Feel It Twice and Should Have Said It. And it kind of gives us an inside look at her relationship with Shawn and how, more specifically, it started.
It's basically her diary.
Oh, yeah.
Her relationship with Shawn. Like, it
100%.
couldn't be more clear.
Oh, yeah. So both of these songs, she didn't say it's about Shawn Mendes, but both of them, she was like, it's about a friend I've had for a very long time. And the plot is pretty much the same in the sense of, like, she said she admitted feelings for this person long before they admitted feelings for her. So it was a kind of a problem with timing. And then when he did come back around, she'd already moved on. So in one of the songs, she straight up says she'd already moved on, which is Should Have Said It, because she's more angry about it. And then in the other song, she's saying she just doesn't feel that same way, so she's worried about hurting them. But I just think these are just two reactions she had to Shawn confessing feelings for her.
It's crazy. And what I think is crazy is, for some reason, in my super outside looking in perspective, I assumed Shawn would have been the one who confessed feelings for her first. I've always kind of felt like he's like been chasing her because she was in a relationship for so long. But I didn't even realize that there was so much more to it behind the scenes. It's so crazy.
I know. What I'm wondering, though, is, I mean, Shawn has a lot of songs that we just have no idea who they're about.
Totally.
Or the inspiration behind them. And I'm wondering, because of how many songs Camila has about Shawn, how many he has about her that we don't know, if this has been like an ongoing thing. I think for a lot of us, when we first saw them get together, it was like, oh, well, they like met forever ago, maybe they thought each other were cute, but then they like didn't talk, and now they like met each other at an older age. But like, I think there was some complications in the middle of all that we just didn't know.
There was such a public like ship culture for them for such a long time, and I think that that kind of created a secondary narrative of like, we didn't even almost care what was going on between them because people shipped them so hard that it just became like a ship. It was just a thing. Like, people wanted them together, which almost gave them the freedom to be like, we're friends because you all ship us. Like, there's nothing going on. And everyone just had such a fantasy of them, if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Like, there was no way we were going to know what was going on, but clearly there was something.
Yeah. Have you ever had this kind of thing where like, this kind of complicated feelings are there, but it's your friend type of relationship in your life? I don't think I ever have, where it was like we were just straight up friends, but there was feelings on both parts, and maybe the timing just wasn't right.
I think if I have, the timing was never right. And then the person I'm currently with, my boyfriend, we were friends for a little bit, but we didn't have like a complicated missed you, like it wasn't exactly like that. He graduated, we got together a year later, and it just like, it wasn't about communication. It was just like not the right time. And I feel like Shawn and Camila's, it seems like there was like this like root of they were really young and didn't know how to communicate their feelings, and they have these crazy whirlwind lives, and finally they like found their way back to each other. Or that's sort of the fantasy romance that her album Romance is creating for us. So we'll really truly never know. But I like the story.
Me too.
I'm into it.
And I'm just curious how Matthew Hussey plays a part in the whole thing, because obviously in one of the songs she's saying she's already moved on, and what I think is like a little bit shady, I'm gonna point it out. If you guys know anything about Camila Cabello's ex, who's a dating coach, he often preaches about this whole thing about like right person, wrong time, and like debunks it, saying that you can't have a right person at the wrong time. That just means it's the wrong person. And he also tweeted this like back in September, which was after Camila and Shawn had been together for a while. And if she really did break up with him, which, going by the story and assuming that it's the characters in her life that we do believe it is, it does seem like she left Matthew to be with Shawn. And if I were Matthew, I would probably be a little bit bitter too. And he's been so silent on social media that I think he's using like his coaching ways to kind of get it out there a little bit.
I have to say, if that is true, Matthew deserves a lot of credit because a lot of people would not have been as silent as he has been.
Yeah, for sure.
So that is something interesting. And I think at the end of the day, as a dating coach, he'll know that this wasn't the right match. Because if your girlfriend is having intense feelings for another person that are sort of lingering and have been there for years and years and years, that's really hard to deal with and hard to overcome.
So hard to deal with.
I think everybody in that trio really ended up where they were meant to be.
100%. And I hope Matthew finds his person.
I do
genuinely.
too.
Yeah.
I really do. Let's move on to two people who I'm not really sure how I feel about this news, and I don't think it's the same way we feel about Shawn and Camila.
No.
Apparently, it is being reported by sources that Khloe and Tristan have gotten back together. This was on Perez Hilton. This was on Radar Online. And like I said, it is just sources. But what the sources are saying is that he's been spending the night at her house when he's in town, that her family knows, but they've been keeping it private from the public, that it's definitely a secret, and that Khloe knows public perception will not be in their favor.
Well,
now,
yeah.
here's what's tough. We've seen on the Kardashians and on social media, Tristan literally has not stopped trying to pursue getting her back. So this narrative that these sources are saying that they have gotten back together, he has been putting in the effort for literally months to get back together. And that is why I'm a little bit like, uh-oh, what if they're back together?
I believe it because, I don't know if you guys saw, but Khloe responded to Tristan's comment on one of the photos. I couldn't find it, but I did see the screenshot. He commented hearts and she responded with hearts. And then on top of that, you guys remember last week she made that long Instagram story being like, I forgive everyone and I have no hate in my heart. And good. I think it's important to forgive people for yourself. I think that you have to let go, move on, absolutely. But when I say let go, I mean also of Tristan. And I just don't think she did. I will say though, I couldn't imagine the position Khloe's in. I think it's really hard with a child involved. And I think with someone like Tristan, that just like mind F's her up where it's like, hey, I'm gonna treat you like the worst person in the world and cheat on you while you're pregnant. Then her getting back together with him after he's like apologized and so on. Hey, I'm gonna cheat on you with your little sister's best friend. And then she's like, okay, I'm gonna make it a little bit harder to win me back this time. And given it's been like almost a year, but it hasn't even been a year. And I just think he's very good at manipulating her. I don't believe it's genuine. What is it? Fool me once, fool me once,
shame
on you, fool me twice, shame on me. And I think, I don't wanna say like once a cheater, always a cheater in every situation, but with Tristan in particular, I think he's so shady for the fact he cheated on her when she was pregnant. And then again, just when everything was fine and they were like working through issues. So I really hope this isn't true, but based on what I've seen on social media, I think it is.
Here's the thing. I am fully hoping that we stop recording and go pick up our phones and Khloe has tweeted denying all of this.
Yes.
That being said, I also feel like I want to give everyone the benefit of the doubt. So like, I can't even begin to imagine what position she's in, how she's feeling, what's been going on behind the scenes. They are open books, but like, we don't know. The thing is, there's just no way to love Khloe or not love Khloe and not feel when you get this news like this is one of your girlfriends going back to the guy that has screwed her over so many times. And you've seen, because we have on the show, you've seen what he put her through. You know in your heart that she can and should have better, and yet she's potentially gone back. It's very, very hard, but in real life, what I would tell my other girlfriends in that moment is she has to learn for herself.
She has 100% agree with that.
So if Khloe hasn't run her course with Tristan yet, she won't until she feels like she's run her course and it's over. So maybe that's just where she is right now, and we're all just gonna have to be okay with it.
Yeah, it's one of these moments that you're reminded that celebrities are just like us and go through the same things.
Stuff.
Just because, you know, she has a reality show, it's not, I mean, I do think their show is scripted to a certain extent or like planned, of course. But that being said, it's a reality show. So they're going to live their lives how they're going to. And just like us, we don't live our lives perfectly. I think it's just extra hard. And I don't know if you guys are like this, but for me, when I see my friend making a decision that I know will be a mistake, that I know will hurt them, it's so hard for me to shut up and smile. Like, I need to work on that because you kind of, because you have to let your friend live, and it's important because they're gonna learn their lesson whether you're a part of their life at that point or not. You just have to be supportive and like, it's okay, everything will be fine, and hope for the best. But like right now, we're all doing that, and I hope we can just be supportive of Khloe because she's not the problem.
She may not be our friend, but we're
here for you, Khloe.
And we want all of the best for their baby.
Yes.
Which hopefully throughout all of this, True is just as cute and happy as she seems to always be.
Yes, I hope so.
So, in another phase of the Khloe Tristan scandal, Jordyn did in fact take a polygraph test on Red Table Talk. Yep. And they didn't release it until now. Interesting timing that this is also the day that
so weird
are reporting that they may be back together. But the lie detector test specifically asks, did you sleep with Tristan Thompson? Did you have sexual intercourse with Tristan Thompson?
Specifically intercourse. I'd like to make that clear.
Specifically intercourse. It's not, did you kiss him? It's not, did you
give him a lap dance?
Inappropriate.
Were you ever in the other room? Whatever she's not at the show. Never was I giving him a lap dance. Never was I in another room with him. Didn't ask any of that.
It's a very, very, very specific question, which I watched enough cop shows to know the questions on a lie detector test do have to be specific. But the clip that they did release today only basically shows that question being asked. I think it asks, like, is your name Jordyn? So what we know is the test did run for 2 hours. So there's 2 hours worth of questions that maybe are just boring. Maybe they were to like establish a baseline to be able to figure out when she's telling the truth, not the truth. I don't know all the science behind it. But I do know you can watch a clip of her taking a lie detector test and you can watch her pass. So whatever that means to you in the heat of all of the scandal, she did not, according to this lie detector test, have sex with Tristan.
Intercourse.
Here's
my whole thing. I found it weird from the get-go that they didn't show this on the actual episode. This was in like a reunion or like look back of episodes that they did share this information. And I'm wondering if it is because it doesn't look good. It's one question and one very specific question, and then 2 hours of footage we have no idea. So what I'm wondering is if they did ask her the other questions and she didn't pass, and they're like, okay, we'll just cut this completely. But then later on, I don't know, maybe they're like, well, let's bring her name up into it again, and they just want to show that one clip, therefore they wouldn't have to show everything else.
So what I will say is, I forget who it was on the show, I think it was Jada, mentioned that the lie detector test, like Jordyn requested, and Jordyn wanted to take it for herself to prove basically to the Kardashian family that she was telling the truth. So perhaps there is a chance that Jordyn requested the test, filmed it as like quote unquote evidence, but it was not initially for public consumption. That is just like devil's advocate. It still feels weird to me, but that's the only reason I could think of. What I almost find more interesting than the lie detector test itself is afterwards when they were discussing it on the show, Adrian insinuates that there is a lot more to the Jordyn never apologized narrative. Remember on the show, Khloe seems to be the most upset that Jordyn never reached out to her to apologize. And Adrian says that based on text messages she's seen, that's not true. So that to me is more interesting than the fact that she even took the test. But once again, I think, and they were saying this on Red Table Talk recap or whatever that segment is on Facebook, there's never going to be the full truth out, at least not for a while. And all we can do is maybe hope that one day it comes out, or everyone just lives their lives and moves on from this, like one way or the other.
Yeah.
But right now is not that time. Like, I don't think we're there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. I think more will come out, especially if the news is true that Tristan and Khloe got back together. You know the saga will not end. It'd be one thing if they all went their separate ways, but they're not. So especially the fact that they even brought this back up into existence. So like you guys, the Red Table Talk. Do you remember that day that was dropping and everyone was losing their minds? So now that's resurfacing with a new clip. So who knows if more will come out of this. I mean, it feels like the Khloe, Tristan, Jordyn drama is never ending. But you know what drama has ended for now? The drama between Cardi B and Offset. You guys, Cardi B recently did an interview with Vogue. She was actually on the cover, and you can see she looks stunning.
So beautiful.
But in her interview, she talks and actually defends herself for getting back with Offset. As you know, similarly to Tristan, Offset did cheat on her. And basically what she said in the interview, again, pretty relatable when you're, when you have such a big platform and you are a celebrity and people are judging your every move. When she did decide to forgive him after all that happened, people were very harsh when talking about it, and like they're like, you let us down and all of this. And she pretty much said, like, everyone has their issues. Everyone acts like relationships are perfect and, just cheating is the problem, but people have all kinds of issues in marriage. And when they say till death do us part, like, they mean it. So for her, she decided to forgive Offset after having that conversation. And they, I guess, came to an understanding, and monogamy is for them. And she didn't get into like super details about what that conversation was, just that they now are under the same understanding. She also had a little threat in there for what she would do if he did cheat on her again. But here's my question. Do you agree with this? Like, when it comes to cheating, I think it is, depending on who you talk to, very black and white. Like, do you think cheating is truly the deal breaker, or do you think it's more circumstantial? Like, do you think it depends on the situation?
I think it's a hard question to answer, like, objectively.
Yeah.
Personally, I think if someone cheated on me, I wouldn't be able to move on from it.
Yeah.
That being said, I'm not married. I don't have a child with someone. And I think that every case and every circumstance is really different. I know there are stories where a marriage goes down the wrong path, you grow far apart, you end up, both of you make mistakes, and then you find your way back to the original path and come to a joint agreement that, like, that part was a mistake, that little offshoot, that fork in the road doesn't count anymore because you want to get back and work on your relationship still. So marriages can survive it. I know plenty of stories that have gone through that. I also just, like, think it's very, very easy. I'm very fortunate. I haven't been cheated on, so it's very, very easy for me to say I would never get back together with someone who cheats on me. Because right now, from where I'm standing, I don't think I could ever do it.
That.
And I would never advise someone, ever. If a girlfriend of mine was cheated on, I would never be like, oh, it'll work out. They never cheat again. Because, like, statistically, that's not the truth.
A lot of the time.
So it's a very, very hard situation to even comment on or be objective with. But I do think it's to each relationship, to each marriage, to each couple. And I really, really hope, for Cardi's sake, if the Khloe thing is true, for Khloe's sake, that these are evolved cases where 10 years down the line, they look back on it and they go, what a hiccup, what a mistake, what a loss of time, and not the other way around.
No, I feel the same way. And I do think Cardi does raise a good point. Like, it really is their relationship. And everyone, what I learned and what I was reading about once was someone was saying how, like, every couple and person values different things in a relationship and have their own set of deal breakers. I mean, some people, they need you to be super driven in your career and have this kind of career. And some people, that's not important to them at all. Some people only want kids. Some people don't want kids. It really depends. And some people don't consider cheating like an end all, especially if it is a isolated incident. I just think it's up to that couple. So I hope that they truly work through it, because it does seem like it's not that cheating wasn't a big deal for Cardi. It was that they've apparently come to an understanding. He's sorry, and they're going to move on from it. So, like, let her live her life. You know what I mean? Like, they're a whole family. So I just hope it works out, and, like, that really is it. Because I hate these kinds of stories that are like the guy being shady and then they get back together, but then he does it again. Not just Tristan, but he's an example.
But hey, she's on the cover of Vogue.
Yeah, she looks
super
amazing.
Gorgeous, and I think that's really, really cool for her. Speaking of a couple that we love and that, thank God, has had no hiccups that I can think of.
I know.
Because honestly, I feel like a lot of people out there have a lot of faith riding in Chrissie and Shawn.
Yeah.
Chrissie did her thing on Twitter Honestly, literally probably one of the most important people to follow on Twitter. And she responded to a fan asking how celebrities deal with the airport. And she was very, very honest. She said, there's a terminal a mile from the airport that you pay membership for. They do the same security privately and take you to the plane in a car. I know. Now, that I know, I think is Chrissie's nod to the fact that, like, yes, this is extra. Yes, this is A-list. Yes, this is, like, so over the top. But that being said, LAX is quite literally a zoo. And I can't even imagine how many people would decide, you know what? Chrissie Teigen's in the next gate over. I might just skip my flight to try to take a selfie with her. Like, when you're that famous, you can't just be sitting in gate 32A. Like, that just doesn't work. It's probably genuinely not safe. And they have the money. Like, can you imagine a world where you had that level of disposable income and you still went in the security line at LAX if this option was down the road?
No.
Like, if you are that wealthy and you are a celebrity, I totally understand why this makes sense. Now, that being said, this only opened in 2017.
Oh.
So I also think that this was an attempt to solve the problem of so many celebrities live in Los Angeles, so many celebrities have to fly out of LAX, and it turns into an actual madhouse once they get here.
That's so interesting.
Yeah.
You know, I always thought that if you reach a certain level of fame, you just go private. Mm-hmm. And I know we hear stories of like, oh, I saw Johnny Depp on my flight. So you're like, oh, well, they don't always fly private, okay. But yeah, you always wonder, like, how did they go through security totally unnoticed? So this was such a, just truly news to probably almost everyone. I think it's really cool and I'm kind of jealous and the photos look very, very fun and I want to go and check it out. So, I'm sure I couldn't get a membership there, but I'd like to try.
I don't know how much it costs, but what I do know is they spend their pre-flight time in private suites with its own bathroom, own food service pantry, a 2-person daybed, and a runway view of the aircraft's landing and taking off. So, like, a pretty cool experience. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
See, I hate spending time at the airport before my flight. I show up like right before. It's probably not the best idea. Don't follow my example, but I've never missed a flight, to be clear. But I like to just get through. I'm TSA pre. I just want to get through and then get on the flight. I also have bad flying anxiety, so like that just adds to it. So the last thing I want to do is like sit in an uncomfortable chair, surrounded by people.
This is your new goal.
This is my new goal. You get to go in and like have a day bed. I would go in to 3 hours early. Are you kidding me?
Well,
I bet there's food.
Pre-flight. Now there is food. You get a custom pantry, I believe. I don't know exactly what this means, but
do you think
it's
like a
pantry.
writers? Do you think you get like a writers? The writers is the list, in case you guys don't know, that celebrities get to give like talk show hosts or any appearance that they're having of like all the things that they need.
Okay,
I want that for my life.
I think you probably do, depending on how private the suites are. Like, do you have your own suite all the time? Do you have the same suite?
Gosh.
We still have more questions. We should probably just tweet Chrissie.
Yeah, we should. We need to also get more famous. Or just famous at all. Please. That's all I want. So we can do this.
Just for the suite.
But you guys, on that note, we have questions for you. So regarding this whole Tristan Offset situation with cheating, is cheating a deal breaker for you? Let us know down in the comments. And also, do you want to join this membership for the private terminal as much as I do? Because I really want to do it.
Yeah.
But before you go, make sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell.
And then click right over here for another new video.
And as always, I'm Renee Ariel. You can follow me on socials at Renee Ariel.
And I'm Fiona Zaring. You can follow me on socials at Fiona Zaring. And we'll see you guys next time.